My wife is the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, but her fake boyfriend was yelling at our son, who had just had surgery, in our own bookstore. He told me to get out, but surprisingly, my wife actually booked him a VIP room. I froze in stunned silence. Imogen despised all men except me, and this guy claimed she was his girlfriend. The bookstore manager seized Thomas Morrow's arm, his voice low but firm. "Sir, please keep it down. You're disturbing the other readers." Thomas's eyebrows twisted into knots of rage. He jerked his arm free with a violent shake, growling, "Didn't you hear me? I'm your boss's boyfriend, and you want me to whisper? I can get you fired in a minute." He smoothed the wrinkles from his silk cuffs, then cast a disdainful glance at my simply short-sleeved shirt. That kid and his father are clearly contagious. Clear the store and sanitize every surface. His arrogance was staggering. My son, Simon Hayes, hadn't uttered a word or coughed once. He was quietly reading and hadn't affected anyone. This guy was deliberately causing trouble. The manager rolled his eyes discreetly, then leaned in close to me and whispered, "Sir, shall we escort this lunatic, who's impersonating you, out of the store?" I shook my head calmly. The blatant discrimination against Simon already had my blood boiling, but curiosity burned hotter. Just how many men did Imogen keep behind my back? Meeting the man's haughty glare head-on, I fired back. "Wearing a mask means you're infectious? Then your baseball cap must mean you're brain dead." Before I could finish, Simon tugged urgently at my sleeve. His eyes were wide with worry, silently pleading for me not to argue. I ruffled his hair reassuringly, but my words ignited Thomas's anger. In a flash, he yanked Simon's mask off. "My girlfriend owns this bookstore, and I say no masks are allowed." Then he flinched, shrieking as if he'd glimpsed something horrific. "What's wrong with his mouth? Is he some kind of freak? Get out of my store!" I rushed over and shoved him back. "Hands off my son. If you can't speak civilly, then shut your mouth." I snatched the mask from his grasp, wrapped Simon in a tight embrace as he trembled violently, and carefully refastened it over his face. Thomas planted his hands on his hips and bellowed at the staff. "Someone, throw them out!" The employees stood frozen, their eyes darting nervously toward me. This fueled his tantrum. "Fine. If no one acts, I'll call my girlfriend right now and have every one of you fired." Simon shook harder in my arms and my heart ached. He had always been insecure about his lip shape, and now the loud chaos terrified him. Cold fury rising, I shot back. "Go ahead. Let's see if your so-called CEO girlfriend can make me leave." Thomas raised his chin, pulling out his phone to type furiously. Moments later, his expression flickered with something strange and unreadable as he stared at the screen. Meanwhile, the manager's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and grimaced with disgust. I raised an eyebrow. "What's wrong?" he faltered. "Mrs. Hayes instructed us to provide this gentleman with a private VIP room." Thomas shot me a victorious glare over his shoulder. "Hear that? Imogen doesn't want me sharing air with lowly peasants like you." He strutted away after an employee, his leather shoes clicking smugly against the floor. I stared at his retreating figure, my phone lighting up with a new message. "Imogen, honey, why aren't you replying? Should I just go ahead and book the restaurant?" "Me, what exactly are you doing right now?" A photo popped up, showing her sitting at a conference table, exhaustion etched across her features. Imogen, stuck in meetings all day, haven't even had a sip of water. She was a notorious workaholic, always unavailable during meetings, except for me. This had to be a coincidence. Directing the staff to isolate Thomas simply de-escalated the scene. It was reasonable. Still, the mood for reading was utterly ruined. I gathered Simon and headed to the mall instead. My phone buzzed again with a message from my friend, Donald Diaz. "Bro, that idiot secretly photographed you two and tagged a fake account of Imogen." The forwarded tweet showed our backs as we left the bookstore. The caption read, "Encountered a brat and his ill-mannered dad. Good thing my girlfriend has my back." I tapped into the fake